We've learned how to multiply different types of polynomials and picked up some shortcuts in the process. Now we are talking about how to work backwards. So opposite or inverse would be division, but it's called factoring patterns. Very useful in geometry, very useful in Algebra 2 as we move forward. So when we deal with our factoring patterns, we'll get a bunch of installments here of what we're doing. So as we start with our multiplication, the distributive property, which you all know how to do. When you do your distributive property on this thing here, you get AB plus AC. So what we're talking about with factoring patterns, and this will be called the GCF, which I'm sure you know what those names stand for. But what it is we're reversing the distributive property. So I see that has a factor of A, but that also has a factor of A, so we're going backwards. So we get to that. So we're looking for the greatest common factors. So it means I got to know my times tables. And then I'll throw some other little things out there that'll help us out, or rules of thumb, as we work through this. So we're going to divide out the GCF. So let's look at some examples and we'll throw some things out. This is going to require A, know your factoring patterns. B, remember how to do some prime factorization. So let's look at example number 1. I'll give you 27. Let's try this the right way now. Y squared plus 18y. So as we look at this, we're going to break it down. Okay, we're going to break this down into coefficients and variables. So with our coefficients, we see 27, which is what? And I'll do old school here for a second on you. Oh, that'll be 3 times 9. You've all done that before. Well, okay, great. Can't break that down, but I can break that down. So this is really 3 times 3 times 3. We go with the 18. Again, back to the old school. 2 times 9, 3 times 3. Now some of you might have gone 6 times 3. I just chose those real quick. So 2 times 3 times 3. Now we look at the y squared. Y times y. And y is simply y. So we want the greatest common factor. What's the same in all of these? So as I look at my factors, I go through. And what's common? We got 3's common here. We got 3's common there. And we got y's common right there. So what's our GCF in this problem? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. I don't multiply all 4 of them together. What? Just the match. So a match of 3 and a match of 3. 3 times 3. Times a match of y. So we got a greatest common factor of 9y. So what are we going to do? We're going to factor this thing. So that means that 9y is coming out of that. So let me rewrite the problem. 27y squared plus 18y. And we're taking out of this thing our 9y. So in your heads, this is what's going on. This gets divided by 9y. This gets divided by 9y. It's in both of them. So we're taking it out and writing it on the outside of the parentheses. Remember? Here, the a, reverse the process. So, what's 27y squared divided by 9? Well, what's left? A 3 and a y. What's 18y divided by 9y? Well, what's left? A 2, and that's it. So we have factored 27y squared plus 18 into this. What's the purpose? Well, you're going to need it in some other problems to help reduce things. That's why we got to practice these things. So let me give you this example and see what you can come up with. Here I'm going to give you negative 4 a squared b minus 8ab squared, and then throw in there plus a 2ab. So we're breaking this thing down. I'm going to draw it out again one more time. Some of you might be able to see things here. Perfect. That's completely fine. So do it, please. So let's look what we got. Now I broke it down this way. I'm going to break it down by the terms instead of just coefficients here. You know, you can do it this way or you can do it this way. See what you like and then run with it. So my negative 4, I got a negative 1 times 2 times 2 times a times a times b. All right, here this negative 8. I'm going to use the negative 1 again. Times 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2, which is 8, times a times b times b. Okay? And over here, what do we got? 2 times a times b. So now what's going on here? I got 3 things that I got to find commonness in. Okay? It's got to be an all or none. There's a good phrase there. All or nothing. All or nothing. Keep that phrase. I told you at one time, math is about memorizing some facts and phrases. There's another phrase, all or nothing. So I look, there's 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, all right there. So we look. What's common? Well, I got a negative 1. I got a negative 1, but do I have a negative 1 in this one? No, can't use it. I got a 2 that matches up here, here, and here. All right? Those match up. Don't have any more 2s here, do we? Okay, we're done with the 2s. But I see an A here, here, and here. Perfect. And no more A's. I got a B, I got a B, and I got a B. So my GCF in this particular problem is everything I have in circle. Remember, when I multiply them together, it's what we have. So there's only a pair of 2s. So 2. Not 2 times 2 times 2. We only have 1 pair of A's. So times A. And, yeah, or I should say a trifecta of A's, not a pair. And we have 3 B's there. So there's our GCF. In this case, 2AB. What are we doing with that 2AB? Go back to your original problem. And that was negative 4 a squared b minus 8a b squared plus 2ab. We're factoring that out of everything. So, divided by 2ab, divided by 2ab, divided by 2ab. And again, some of you might be able to do some of this stuff in your head. Perfect, do so. Just avoid those simple mistakes. That's what you got to be careful with. So we divide out. 2 divided by, well, first of all, where's our GCF go? Like it did here, out in front. So there's 2ab. Now, what's left over? Oh, when the dust settles after I do all this division, what's left over? Well, negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. A squared divided by A is A. B divided by B. Anything divided by itself is 1. So what's 1 times all of this? Same thing. So move on here. Negative 8, sign with it, divided by 2. Negative 4. A divided by A, 1. b squared divided by b gives us b to the first power. Now look here. Cancels, cancels, cancels. When something is divided by itself, it is not zero. It does not completely disintegrate. You get 1. So my final answer in that example would be 2ab times the quantity of negative 2a minus 4b plus 1. GCFs.